What's up, guys? Welcome to Talking with Owen.
I'm Owen,
And I'm also Owen.
and today we're going to be talking about our top 10 favorite Yes songs. Some progressive rock today.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
big into a lot of different kinds of music, but we're
mhm,
really trying to get into a big prog phase right now. I've been listening to a ton of stuff, and Yes is one of our favorite artists.
mhm. Yeah, there's a ton of prog bands we've been listening to. Yes is one of the most significant ones, one of the main leaders in the prog world. So we're going to each do
Definitely.
our own top 10 lists. So we did not discuss these. We haven't heard each other's lists yet. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be very
very
interesting. We'll
exciting
just
stuff.
uh go through our lists and tell you guys why we chose each one. And we'll start from 10, go to 1. So Owen, do you want to start us off?
Sure, yeah. Something I'd like to add, we're also both musicians, so we really care about the musicality of,
Yeah.
these tracks and stuff. And, Yes is super interesting musically, so we really, appreciate this band. Big shout out to all the members of Yes.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but yeah, let's start it off.
Yeah.
So at my 10 slot, hold on, pull up the list. My 10 slot, I have And You and I off of Close to the
Nice.
Edge.
Nice, nice, nice.
Let me pull up. Oh yeah, right here. Got the
Nice.
vinyl. But I think that all three tracks in the album are incredibly good. I think it might be their best work. I do think of the three it might be the weakest, but it's just incredibly good either way. I think they're
Yeah.
all really good. The whole intro with the acoustic stuff is really awesome. The
Mhm.
vocals John Anderson delivers are really good throughout, and I really just appreciate all the details of the song that go into it and make it a really cool, epic, 10-minute song.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more with you. That's a wonderful song. Off of like yeah, probably their coolest work in my opinion. And
Yeah,
I think it's one of John Anderson's best performances as well. Uh, so for my number 10 slot, I'm going with, let me look real quick. Oh, I'm going with Yours Is No Disgrace from
definitely.
the Yes album. So
Yeah,
for the 10th slot for me it was between Yours Is No Disgrace and I've Seen All Good People. Uh
yeah,
and I ended up going with this one because I think it has a little more like depth musically, but it also still has the vocal aspects that I really like from both of those songs. It has a lot of cool harmonies,
yeah.
and I think it's a really cool, um, maybe the most out of all these songs that I have on here, like the coolest like demonstration of John Anderson's like writing and his harmonies and stuff. And I think it's just a really cool song altogether. The main riff is really cool, and yeah, that's about all I
Yeah, I
got.
definitely agree. A really great way to open their first definitive prog album.
Yeah,
Really just get into that world that album sets up. And
yeah,
yeah, I agree with that. Over I've Seen All Good People. I think it is close, but I do like that one more.
yeah.
All right. Nine slot. For me, I went with Ritual.
Nice.
Somewhat of a deep cut, not super deep. It's off what's it called? Topographic. Wait, fuck, what's the
Tales from
album name?
Topographic Oceans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
But yeah, it's a great track. I listened to it like for one of the first times a few days ago and really started appreciating it more.
Mhm.
There's all those songs in that album are all 20 minutes, so they're all a lot to digest. But this one
Yeah.
really stuck with me a lot. I think that all the drum parts in the start are really cool. There's some tribal drumming stuff at the end. The
Mhm.
guitar solo is sick. I really like all the aspects of it, and I think that of their really really long journey songs, I think that this one really sticks well.
Yeah. Great song, great song. All right. Number 9 slot, I'm going with Siberian Khatru. Uh personally, I love all the songs on that album. This one is probably it's close, but it's probably my least favorite of the three. Still, I love the song. And
Yeah,
the guitar in like the opening and I don't know, everything about the song, it gets pretty like kind of like funky in the middle section, which I like a lot. It's pretty catchy and it's a cool like blending of genres in my opinion, and
yeah.
a great way to end off the masterpiece that that record is, Close to the Edge.
Yeah, I agree. That main funk riff in the middle is really cool, and they
Yeah,
play some variations on it in the end, and it's really a cool song throughout.
yeah.
Um, Definitely, yeah. All right, number eight. I
Hmm.
went with one of your picks. Yours is No Disgrace. Put it a little higher. Big
Nice.
fan of that track. I mean, everything you said, I agree with. I think that it's really a great, preview for everything that the Yes album has to offer. All the guitar work, all the drumming, all the different, unique musical aspects that make a song prog, the time signatures, all of that. It's
Hmm.
really cool. definitely a preview into what their later work can get like. It's not as complex as other tracks, but it's definitely a world like a opening a door into their world of complexity that comes later on.
Yeah. Number eight, I went with a song that is the opposite of a deep cut. I went with Roundabout. This
Yeah, of
song, obviously, everybody knows it, everybody loves it, but I couldn't leave it off the list. The song, first
course.
Yes song I ever heard. In my opinion, like a perfect song. Like there's nothing. Only reason it won't be higher is because I've heard it so many times. It's like, but I think
Yeah.
it's pretty close to a perfect song. Obviously the guitar intro is iconic. The bass line is what makes the song for me pretty much. Like Chris Squire's work on this is pretty extraordinary, and
Yeah.
big fan of how it kind of builds and how like towards the end the verses get a little bit like there's like some minor variations and it kind of builds, and then you have the sick organ solo. Uh
Hmm.
Shout out Rick Wakeman, it was his birthday 2 days ago, so
Oh
got that
shit! Happy birthday!
got,
I didn't even know that.
yeah, I got that in
Yeah.
there. And yeah, so that is uh number eight. Yeah. So about all I got to say about that song. Great
I,
song.
yeah, I definitely agree. I think it escaped my top 10 just because of how much I've heard it, but I do
Yeah.
agree. There's like nothing really wrong with it in general. Everything about it is comes together really well. It makes sense that it's so popular.
Yeah.
I definitely think that, deserves to be one of their most popular songs for sure for how cool and complex it is while also being like a really like fun song that
Yeah.
is enjoyable to listen to, unlike, some other really intense prog stuff that isn't normal for people's ears,
Yeah, it's
if they're
it's one of the it's very approachable while still
definitely.
being complex and musically
Yeah.
like really cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and Chris Squire, what a goat. Love all his stuff. Unique music on his own and yes, so brought a lot to the band. All right, at my number seven spot, I went with Tempest Fugit. I don't know,
Oh, nice, nice, nice.
like
Happy
a
Tuesday,
gift gift situation, but yeah, it's a great song. I think it gets into some like kind of funky aspects. The drumming is really cool. I really appreciate that.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Bill Bruford on that track, but I don't know if he was with them during that album. I'd probably
Yeah.
have to fact check that, but it was yeah, it's one of my favorites. I kind of got introduced to it late into listening to Yes because I don't know like their first couple of albums, and once I started
Yeah.
listening to their later, I really thought it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great song. I don't think it did escape my top 10, but I think
Yeah,
it's a really uh catchy song. It's not what you think of when you first think of Yes, like that song, but I
yeah,
think it has like so many cool aspects, really cool riff, and it has a really catchy melody, which is
yeah,
makes it also like a more accessible
yeah,
song compared to
yeah.
some Yes songs, in my opinion. Uh, at number seven, I have "The Gates of Delirium" from Relay.
Nice.
So this one
Yeah.
is a super long song. This is about 22 minutes, and it's one of their epics. Uh, there are a couple of like those epics that I uh ranked higher up, but this song is like essential to me. One of my first like big Yes songs that I listened to. One of my favorites. I'm like super impressed with all the work on this. The intro is super cool and like ethereal, and it gets into some really cool riffs, unison lines, vocal parts. So yeah,
Mm.
big fan of that song.
Yeah. We went on number six, and you just said what it was. So
Oh, okay,
I
my
have Ethereum for my sixth pick. Yeah,
yeah.
everything you said, completely agree. It's
Mhm.
like a perfect epic song. I think, every part throughout is what encapsulates Yes as a band. I think that, Steve Howe gets some like really cool distortion tones throughout the second half of the song and like, really brings like some unique aspects to it that feel more abstract, but also
Yeah,
like, still confined in the lines of the song that make it really cool.
yeah,
But yeah, absolutely great track. Completely agree there.
yeah. Number six, I went with Starship Trooper. Um,
Nice.
Favorite song from the Yes album. Uh, One of my favorites. One of the first I ever heard. I think that really got me into Yes. Uh, this one. Uh, I'm a really big fan of the melody of this song. I think it's like some Yes songs are all about the instrumental to me, and this one is like a lot about the melody. I think it's a super, cool song and a good starting point. Uh, if you're listening to Yes, and yeah, I just love this song.
Yeah, you did this again. Starship Troopers my fifth pick. Funny, yeah, similar taste right here. But
Yeah,
I completely agree with all of that. Great song, best off the Yes album, I think. Just a lot of really cool ideas there. I agree with the melody. I think the whole first part, like hearing the first few seconds of that song is just like, it's a whole like vibe, the guitar tone,
yeah,
everything, the organ parts. Well, if you listen to it, I was listening to it the other day, and I took an AirPod out and I like there was no guitar because it's panned left
yeah,
to right. And like, it's
mhm,
so cool to hear just the organ parts and stuff. And it's
yeah,
like I don't know, it was a really cool experience, like hearing
Yeah.
each thing individually.
Hmm.
And the transition into the acoustic part for like the part two of the song was really cool and how it flows back into the end.
Hmm.
It being a little slower and like the chords changing and stuff. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, great song.
Yeah.
All three parts of it, really cool.
Hmm.
Definitely a big flash of what Yes is gonna be like in the future if you're starting at the, start of their career.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Great.
at what? Five for you, yeah.
Yeah. So five for me, I have South Side of the Sky from
Nice.
Fragile. This is an amazing song, and it is uh like it has like the feeling of one of their like big epics, but it's a shorter song, like 7 minutes long. Uh,
Mm,
I I know I'm gonna talk about Chris Squire a million times, but this bass line is like a really like heavy, cool bass line that just like lays under the melody the whole time, and
mm,
I think this song has such a cool. When I first listened to Fragile, which is the first album I got on vinyl of Yes, of Yes's albums, when I first listened to the album, Southside of the Sky didn't stand out to me as much as like maybe Heart of the Sunrise or Roundabout or some of those songs, Long Distance Runaround. But I went back and listened to it, and I realized what like a masterpiece it is. And there's the piano interlude in the middle, which I think is just like so cool and like the coolest way to have like a break from the normal form, and it goes into that interlude and then comes back even stronger, and I think it's just super cool.
yeah. Great take. I agree. I don't know how I didn't put that in my top 10. It's right on the, yeah. I
Yeah,
definitely think, yeah, listening to Fragile, it's a really interesting experience because there's a lot of tracks that are kind of wacky on that album and like,
yeah.
a lot of different vibes. You
Mhm.
told me before about how like each musician in the band like make one song that's theirs. So you have like Caniff
Yeah,
and Brahm, just like well that's just the keys thing. It's just
yeah.
Rick Wakeman playing like a classical piece, and then there's like the Fish Skindalarium, which is just like bass
Squires.
harmonic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
Chris
have
Squires,
Heaven. We have Heaven as John Anderson's
Evan.
vocal. Is
Yeah,
yeah. This one isn't one of those like, but uh,
yeah,
I think every single song on that album that's not one of those solo projects is like
mhm.
an amazing song. And
Definitely. There's no
yeah.
real misses outside of those, I think, on that album.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, it's definitely a great song. I agree everything about the bass, and that song really makes it. And transition back into it a little harder makes it feel really cool at the end.
Yeah.
All right, we're at number four, getting close to the top three here. My number four slot. This could really like my top four could go anyway. It depends on the day. But I
Yeah.
went with Awaken.
Nice, nice.
Um, yeah, insane song. 17 minutes. It's like yeah, it's super epic. The unison lines are really insane. Like all the
Mhm.
guitar and key stuff is really sick.
Mhm.
Um, it just a lot goes through like a whole journey, like a lot of their other songs do, but it feels consistent throughout in a way that makes it different from all other like, really in-depth and abstract things they've done throughout their career as musicians. And I
Mhm.
just think it's a really cool song. You showed me this. I'd never even like thought about this song in the past before. I'd given a listen through a good amount of their albums at that point, and I knew their stuff, but I definitely never like super stuck out to me until I took a chance to listen to it on its own, and then it really like stuck, and I
Yeah.
really so.
Yeah. Great pick there at four. Uh,
Mhm.
at four, I have And You and I, from Close to the Edge. Uh,
Rip.
I had to put this high. It could have been higher for me. I think mainly because like Close to the Edge and You and I go together like so
Yeah,
well. It's hard to think of it even as its own song. So
yeah,
like, I guess I'm kind of like considering it as like as how it like builds off of Close to the Edge, and because I think it's just like an amazing um 2 song run there.
yeah,
So that song, like you said, all the like acoustic stuff in the beginning and all that, like super super cool song. And also think it's very it is pretty like catchy in the beginning, and I think it's a really just a great song. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. All right, we're entering the top three here. Things get pretty intense here.
Hmm.
With my third pick, I'm gonna have to go with Heart of the Sunrise.
Same here.
Um,
Number two.
yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Nice.
Great song. I think it's the best off Fragile, probably. It's just super cohesive. It's super cool with how like the parts flow. I think it's one of the best way they merge things throughout.
Yeah.
Hearing a band play this live, we had a gig one time where another band that we were playing alongside played this song, and
Yeah.
like hearing it in that context made it seem way more interesting. And like hearing other people like play those exact parts like perfectly is like, wow, this is insane to hear, done
Yeah.
live. And that really
Mhm.
kind of opened it up to me more. And like the bass part on that song just rips. I think that's like one of
Yeah.
Chris Squire biggest moments for Yes, and I think that really reminds me of his solo work, with his
Yeah.
solo album.
Yeah. Yeah. That bass line makes the song completely,
Yeah,
can't stop talking about Chris Squire, but he's really the bass lines that he write. I heard somebody say that it's like they're so melodic, and it's not even like it's part of like the rhythm section. It's like its own like lead instrument, especially in this song. And
Yeah.
him and Bruford are like the two main parts of the song that make it so cool. Like the whole intro and Bill Bruford does his whole like thing where he's kind of like displacing the bass riff like and he like is doing different like polyrhythms and cool rhythms over it, which just make it like
Yeah.
super cool and keep it interesting even though it's so repetitive. And yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The way they
best
change the feel
best
is
song off Fragile, I think.
definitely, yeah.
Mhm.
Super cool track though. Nothing wrong with it. Pretty perfect song.
Yeah.
All right, number two. You were way lower on this. This is kind of a personal pick, but I really love the song. It was the first song that I really like heard getting into Yes. Like not the first one, but one of the ones I heard that really made me think about them in a different way. As I was getting into prog music, my dad showed me the song Siberian Kashru off
Yeah.
Close to the Edge. I mean, yeah, as a guitarist, that guitar intro just like hit me really hard, and then throughout, all the funk aspects, all the different riffs, like it's
Yeah.
really cool to me.
Hmm.
Um, the tone on the guitar, even like the keyboard things that are going on, the organ stuff is really cool. I like how it
Hmm.
blends together, all the unison stuff that's always there pretty much in Yes songs is really cool. I love the John Anderson melody on this. Like the that whole thing's
It's
like
so
it's
good.
really yeah.
Yeah, like I
Uh,
said, like this list can change day to day. That could have been higher for me. I have no nothing to say
yeah,
bad about that song, and I have
yeah,
nothing to say bad about you putting it too. It's an amazing song.
yeah. Great song. Personal pick though. All right, for you.
Number two, I have Awaken.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I absolutely love this song. I think the the piano intro is it's amazing, and it's what first kind of like one of the first things I heard of that like put me onto Rick Wakeman's playing, and it is like a super fast, like super like riffy type of like little line that goes right into it all comes down and goes right into the quiet, kind of like spacey pad like synth pads with John Anderson singing, and I believe it's like some lyrics he wrote about his wife, which is super cool and it's super pretty. And then it just goes like right into this like these super hard like heavier riffs out of this like soft part, and it just like all like you said, all the unison lines, the guitar and keys together are super cool, and I think every second of this song is interesting and never nothing ever gets old. Yeah.
Yeah, I could listen to this song a million times and find a new detail about it every single time.
Hmm.
And yeah, I really appreciate that whole like John Anderson vocal section. Actually, it was something that I feel like normally I might feel like oh, this feels like a waste in a song for a Yes song, but I actually really I appreciate how it flows and how it gets into the next part and like sets it up. And then when you feel that guitar come in, it really hits you, and
Yeah.
then everything builds up and it feels really cool.
Mhm.
So it's a great way to make the track feel more momentous
Yeah.
throughout. All right, yeah. Shit, we've arrived at the number one pick here.
I think we both know what it is for
I
both of
think we
us.
both know what it is. Yeah,
Say three, two, one. Close to
close
the
to the
edge.
edge.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
not
Uh,
undeniable. I mean, I knew it was gonna be here when we started talking about making this list, and then today in history class, I had to listen to it again. I mean, it's a track I listened to.
you had to
I'd
listen
say
to it. You had to listen to it in history class.
yeah, yeah.
You had
I
to.
had to
Yeah.
because I kind of, it's something that you don't listen to. I guess like super often, with those 20-minute tracks, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
you're doing something and you just like, you feel like, you're in the mood for a really long song. And I
Yeah.
was like, I need to revisit this because I mean, obviously I know it really well and I think it's a great track, but I wanted to hear it again in
Yeah.
this context, thinking about the list and it, solidified that I'm keeping it at the number one spot. I mean,
Yeah.
every single part of this song is super cool.
Yeah.
It really just like it makes a whole world of unique noises and different things that you wouldn't expect to hear in a song, and it
Yeah.
really encapsulates the entire Yes sound. Like everything that each member is known for and famous for is told through the song in a like
Yeah.
way that story like with all their instruments.
Yeah, everybody has a moment on this song. One of the things I think is super cool about the song is, after this like era, 70s era in music, there was nobody would make a song with like a minute of like almost silence in the beginning, and it just like slowly builds into that beginning riff, which is like all over the place and super fast and like different stuff happening with the keys and the guitar. But like there's like a minute almost of just like silence, like it's barely any noise, which nobody does nowadays, and it just
Yeah, yeah.
builds the suspense up until the first
Mm.
part and that whole section, and then there's like the I get up, I get down, like that part is
Yeah.
just super cool.
So
And
good. Yeah.
it goes to the quiet section, and it's like the little like sections of the melody, and then there's like the pipe organ uh
Yeah,
interlude
the
parts,
pipe
which
organ
are just
part.
super
Yeah,
sick because it's like these like quiet vocals and it's like what? It's just like
yeah,
huge,
it's so
huge
cool. Yeah,
sound.
yeah,
Um, and then there's like that Hammond organ solo after that.
yeah.
So like using multiple types of organs, pretty cool.
That's
But
really
yeah, this song is just epic. So many
cool.
things going on, so many different songs in one, but they all fit together so
Yeah.
well, and they're all perfect. Yeah,
Yeah, the synth stuff, like the whole intro, that keyboard sound, I don't even know how to like explain it. It's so sharp and like pointy, and the way the riff sound in the start is like so abrasive and like really gets you into the world that the song sets up. And I really like that. And all
yeah.
like the counterpoint type melodies that Steve.
Oh, I lost you, bro. Bro.